Welcome to another Todd's
2-Minute Tech Tip Tuesday.
brought to you by the National RV Training Academy, the largest hands-on RV training academy in America. Hey, this week I'm going to go ahead and tell you how to prepare your RV for the summer. Now, I have some top tips that I think everyone should do before they roll out this summer. So let's go ahead and start from the ground up, and let's look at our suspension. Guys, first and foremost, I need you to get under the RV and start looking at your suspension. Well, what am I looking for, Todd? First and foremost, let's look at the tires and make sure we have the proper air pressure before you leave. Now, if you read your tires, they give you a maximum PSI at cold. Now, the reason why they do that is because whenever they fill the tires up and test them, they test them in ambient temperatures, right? The temperature of whatever it is right now. So it is best for you to check the maximum PSI before you travel. Now, if you do travel and forget, it takes about 3 hours for those, typically, for those tires to cool down. Okay, so test them cool and adjust properly. But while you're down there looking at the tires, not just the pressure, right? This is where I think TPMSs fail, right? That is looking at the tire itself. Do you see anything stuck in the tire? Do you have screws? Do you have nails? Do you have Barbie dolls? Whatever stuck in the tires, right? You got to give it a good visual inspection. Okay, second, since it's been a while, did you know that you should be checking your brakes every 12 months? So I would suggest before going out this summer to go ahead and have your brakes checked. So take it to a reputable place to check the brakes. And while you're checking the brakes, let's go ahead and repack those bearings, right? Those bearings, one of the things that we do the least, they need to be repacked at least once a year or every 12,000 miles. So have those looked at, get a good repacking done, and that way your suspension is doing fine. Now while you're down there, just look for anything that looks like it's broken. Whether you have an independent suspension or whether you have a leaf spring system, just check to see if everything looks right. So now as we move up, I want you to go ahead and jump up on the roof and we're going to do a seal inspection, right? You just got through the winter, got through going through the fall right now. So now let's get up there, hands and knees on that RV roof, and we're going to look closely at all of our seals. Just make sure I don't have anything coming off, the seals pulling away. If you see holes, that's where we need to address it, right? You want to get that before it rains. Well, here's the thing. You just went through winter, probably a lot of rain. So when you do your inspection, also go inside the RV and look for telltale signs of water intrusion. Now, before you also go, I want you to test every appliance, major appliances. The one thing you don't want to do is get all the way out somewhere in the middle of the freaking desert where you do have shore power, because that's how that's done, plug in and you don't have an air conditioner, right? You want to test that before you go. And since it's not summer yet, let's go ahead and test those air conditioners. Test them one at a time and see if you're getting cool air through there. See if you're listening for any weird noises on that compressor, right? If so, go ahead and address it before you go. Now, I said all appliances, so we're going to go through the microwave. Make sure the refrigerator gets down to temperature. Again, you don't want to get out somewhere, have your food in there, and find out the refrigerator's not getting the temperature. Your slides. Make sure your slides extend all the way out, come all the way in. If you have a leveling system, make sure you test all that. So let's look at number 4, which is fluid levels. If you have an onboard generator, you make sure that you have the proper amount of oil in that generator. Make sure that you haven't gone over your hours on that. So I want you to check your manual, whether you have an Onan or some other brand. Make sure that you have the proper oil and oil change taking place, air filter. If you have a hydraulic system, just look at the reservoir and make sure you're within range on that reservoir. So the worst thing that you can do is get out there and not have enough hydraulic fluid inside your system. You're going to get what's called cavitation. You're going to get air bubbles, and it's just bad. Foam, everything else. Next, and finally, what I want you to look at is your tow vehicle. Whether you are towing with it or you're pulling a toad, guys, let's not forget those. So same thing. We're going to look at brakes on those things. We're going to look at our suspension. Make sure that we have the proper fluid levels, okay? Don't just focus on the RV, but also focus on your car. I know that this is quite a bit of extensive. It's a lot easier for me to say. This will take you a day to do all this stuff. But if you do this, you should have a wonderful RVing experience. And there's your tech tip. All right, before you get to the bloopers, which is why you're here in the first place, the RV industry needs thousands of RV technicians and inspectors, and now is the perfect time to do that. If you want to make more money or have more control over your time, go ahead and click the link below. Or if you just want to learn how to fix your own RV, got something for you there. Head over to rvtechcourse.com and get started today. Now for the reason that you're out there in the video, roll the bloopers.
Yes, you're rolling.
All right. It's nice and pretty. Hey, this week, I'm about to sneeze. All right, so let's go ahead and, now since we're talking, was that 3? Not have enough transmission fluid in order to push down a hydraulic. Whoop. Same thing. All right, so blah, blah, blah. Bam, look at there. Punk.